From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, Fairbanks, and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening: warm temperatures and freezing rain left many interior motorists on the side of the roads this morning. The unseasonably warm temperatures coupled with freezing rain left a sheet of ice on the roadways.
The rain started late in the morning after the school buses had begun their routes, and many buses were seen on the side of the roads as they quickly became dangerous. Numerous closures were announced late in the day that included after-school activities, the borough bus system and operations, as well as Chena Ridge Road. Now, another closure was at the airport as both runways were closed due to the extreme conditions.
The general aviation runway is not open at this time, and I do not have an estimated time. They are still working on that one in addition to maintaining the proper braking to keep the commercial runway open. Alaska Airlines canceled 2 flights today, earlier this morning, and Raven Airlines has canceled 5 flights today.
It wasn't just school buses and planes that were affected by the icy conditions. Fort Wainwright upgraded their road conditions to black, asking motorists to really consider if travel was necessary. Also, all borough bus routes were canceled as drivers saw conditions quickly worsen after the rain began.
We take a look at, of course, what the incident is. It's the mayor's office that actually makes the determination of whether we, are either eliminating or suspending operations. Today, it was the bus drivers that actually made the call on, the road conditions. Who, they were out this morning and they were pretty treacherous.
Officials with the school district said that they will monitor the road conditions and notify of closures if necessary prior to school tomorrow morning.
Energy and education were 2 main themes of Governor Sean Parnell's State of the State speech last night. News Center 11's Monty Bowen has that story.
In his address, the governor said we must find new ways to use Alaska's resources to drive down the cost of energy.
That's why last year we created the Interior Energy Project to get lower cost natural gas to Alaskans. That natural gas trucking solution should deliver first gas to Fairbanks in winter 2016.
Parnell said for the first time all the necessary parties have aligned to make an Alaska gas line project go.
3 producers, a preeminent pipeline builder, the Alaska Gas Line Development Corporation, and the state agencies responsible for the people's royalties and taxes.
He said it's time to tackle the $2 billion pension deficit that keeps taking a bigger bite out of the budget each year. Without action, he said the $630 million annual payment would balloon to more than $1 billion.
So to keep Alaska strong, I propose we transfer $3 billion of our $16 billion in budget reserves into the Retirement Trust Fund. Next year, this shift will allow us to reduce our annual payment to $500 million instead of more than $750 million.
Parnell also proposed a multifaceted education upgrade, saying students need 21st century classrooms to compete in the 21st century economy. He said both sides of the issue will have to work together to accomplish that goal.
On one side are those who believe reform begins and ends with increased funding. The other side, myself included, we focused on results. What are we getting for what we're already spending?
Tomorrow, we'll take a closer look at the governor's education proposals. Monty Bowen, News Center 11.
President Obama has declared a disaster emergency for Alaska. The action makes federal funding available to state and eligible tribal and local governments and certain nonprofits. The funds would go for emergency work and repair or replacement of facilities damaged by the storms, winds, and flooding between November 5th and the 14th. The areas under the disaster declaration are the Fairbanks North Star Borough, the Bering Strait, Lower Kuskokwim, and Lower Yukon Regional Education Attendance areas.
Lots of strange weather this year, and Mike Schultz joins us now for our first look at weather. So Mike, tell us what we can expect.
Well, first of all, let's recap what happened last night. We had a storm develop on the other side of the Alaska Range, which doesn't happen very often, but it was just enough to pull the moisture out of the clouds and put it down on the cold temperatures on the roads, and that's what gave us our really lousy conditions this morning. And it moved out really quickly, too. You noticed that today, this afternoon was pretty nice. However, let's look at our satellite picture and see if we can give you an idea what's coming our way now. And we'll look at that picture and show you that we're looking at, for the most part, it looks like nothing is really happening because, again, the Alaska Range is blocking everything out. However, there's a lot of moisture down to the south there, and it's all moving from the south to the north, so we got to keep an eye out in the morning. There's still an opportunity for more freezing rain tomorrow morning, but it doesn't look as strong, but like I said, things can change real easily. The key word is we're going to have warm temperatures continuing right on into the weekend, so any of the ice or snow that's around is going to melt pretty rapidly.
That's good news.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Thank you for that update. And we'll, of course, hear more in weather.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, we'll do that.
Now, we'll have more of your local news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. A new report commissioned by the Alaska Department of Health and Social Services describes the shaky financial management of the Fairbanks Community Behavioral Health Center. It highlights poor business practices causing the failure of the nonprofit. However, it notes that all operations were legal. The board president for FCBHC, Barbara Birch, says she is happy the report did not find any evidence of fraud. She says ultimately the nonprofit overstretched their resources and didn't see problems until it was too late.
I don't think that we really looked closely at what the agency really was supposed to be doing, the core mission of the agency, and then staying with that instead of branching out and doing a lot of other things. But a lot of those things didn't make any money for the agency at all.
As we reported yesterday, Fairbanks is hosting another Hollywood film and actors. We have more now in tonight's That's Interior Attainment. Unnatural is the name of the drama movie being filmed here in the interior.
Very similar to like the movie Jaws. So, you know, this would be like Jaws on ice. This bear wreaks havoc on this lodge, and it's up to him to try and, you know, save these people and get them out safely.
Two of the film's executive producers are Fairbanksans.
We picked it out because of them, and that's kind of where the idea of the whole bear and the Arctic and, you know, the combination of those three things kind of came together, and it's like, oh, well, this is a nice little formula to make this movie, and that's what we did.
Some of the notable cast members are some serious Hollywood actors, including James Remar and Golden Globe nominee Sherilyn Fenn, but that's not it.
Graham Greene's in this movie. He nominated for an Academy Award for Dances with Wolves. You know him from the Twilight series, obviously. But he did The Green Mile, Free Willy, and he's a native guy. So, you know, we've tried to use a lot of natives in this film. Koryanka Kilcher's also in this film. She's from Alaska.
Those on the crew say this experience in Fairbanks was awesome.
The locals, everybody has been so great here. I mean, people are thrilled that we're here, and we love it. The only thing that we are lacking right now is seeing the Northern Lights. So I don't know if you guys have anything to do with that, or we can make it happen. But yeah, if you guys can turn that up before we leave, that would make everybody, the trip would be complete.
I'm Stephanie Woodard, and that's Interior Attainment, brought to you by the Finish Line Restaurant and Lounge.
Well, tonight we take you back into the kitchen with Lisa Gambardella for a look at yet another delicious meal.
Buonasera, welcome to Fairbanks Flavor. I'm Lisa Gambardella. I'm downtown at my kitchen at Gambardella's Pasta Bella. Today we're featuring a dish from the hills of northern Rome. We're going to start with some pancetta and some olive oil in there. We want to get the fat off this pancetta. Let's talk about pancetta for a minute. It's a very fatty bacon. It comes in a roll. You can slice it and then chop it. It's not smoked, so it doesn't interfere with the other flavors. Because this is a very simple dish. You want to be able to taste all the flavors in there. As soon as our fat is rendered from there and it looks a little bit starting to crisp a little, you can go ahead and put your spaghetti in there and toss that around. Now, with a lot of historic dishes in Italy, there's often a bit of controversy over which ingredients to add and which to leave out. I'm going to go ahead and add in some garlic in this, right off to the side, and let that toast because it doesn't need as much time as the pancetta. Now, some of the controversial ingredients in the spaghetti carbonara would be whether or not to add garlic, whether or not to add cream, whether or not to add onion. So I'm leaving the onion out and I'm adding in the garlic. So it is said that the shepherds in northern Rome would carry the bacon with them. And if they had the luxury of having some egg, they could make it rich with that as well. So now I'm going to put in some Parmesan cheese. And I've turned off the heat because here's the tricky part. You want to add in the egg without actually scrambling it. So here we go. I'm going to put in a dash of cream. Just get it hot enough. Ooh, look at that. Once you get it to the right temperature, make it nice and piping hot. It's ready to serve with some freshly ground black pepper. And there's your spaghetti carbonara with a nice Chianti from Tuscany. Buonasera. See our recipes at webcenter11.com.
Brought to you by Gambardello's Pasta Bella.
Joe
Cook
is
next
with
sports.
Stay
tuned.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your Thursday sports. After 2 road series, the Naniks will finally be back in the Carlson Center this weekend. They play Bemidji State Beavers this weekend, then Alabama Huntsville next weekend to kick off Hockey Week in Fairbanks. The Naniks have been road warriors. This will be the first back-to-back home series for the Nooks since the last week of October and the first week of November. 4 of their next 5 series are at the Carlson. The last time the Nooks and the Beavers met, Alaska tied and then won 5-1 in Minnesota. Home ice couldn't come at a better time for Alaska. They've earned points in their last 5 series. Tyler Morley is coming off a Nanik of the Week performance with 3 goals at Northern Michigan. His little brother Brandon has 3 goals against Northern as well. The first time Alaska has won there in 9 years. This could be the time to go on a run. They are just 4 points behind Bemidji in the conference.
We got to string some wins together. It can't just be one every weekend and maybe get a tie each weekend. We got to start getting a streak together and start climbing the standings.
I don't think we're overlooking these guys. I think we're going to take them seriously. We know what we need to do. I think we had a good week of practice this week in preparation of coming out and playing hard.
It's going to be really important for us to, get out and get off to a good start, get our fans into the game, play the game that we need to play to have success is probably the bigger message that we've had for our team this week.
Yesterday in high school hockey, Monroe and Delta tangled on the ice in the Big Dipper Ice Arena. Scoring was hard to come by because of Nathaniel Brose of Monroe and Bryce Ward of Delta denying scores. But Ben Mock made it a 1-0 game for Delta about 8:30 into the second period. But an answer quickly came thereafter. Garrett Garrett for Monroe with the equalizer after a Mike Coyley and Dylan Steele assist. Brose made 32 saves for the Rams, and they would all count because with 3:51 to go in the final period, Coyley scored the game winner off of the Hunter Heyman assist off the faceoff. The Rams win 2-1 and are now 500, 4-4 in the Greatland, and 6-6 overall.
We needed this one tonight, and it's good to beat them. We lost to them a week and a half ago. And I think we had a game plan set, cover the zone, and goals would come, and they did. So props to Michael for getting that goal late, but we did everything we needed to do, and it went well.
And now we go to the hardwood. Last night at Lathrop was the much-anticipated first meeting between the Malamutes and Wolfpack. West Valley's Daniel Hornbuckle started strong. It was his 16th birthday. He scored 12 of his 16 points in the first half as West Valley led 31-24 at the break. But Kyle Carlson was a force with 23 points, keeping the Malamutes close despite fouling out in the fourth quarter. Trayvon Brackett was a second-half player, scoring 23 of his game-high 27 for West Valley to keep the Wolfpack ahead, but Lathrop is a second-half team. They chipped away, and Fred and Terrell Ford, his and one, gave the Malamutes their first lead of the game late in the third. He scored 12 of his 14 in the second half. Lathrop outscored West Valley 49-36 in the second half and rallied for a 73-67 victory in the MAC opener for both teams.
We just needed to really come out stronger. We played so flat in the first half that it was just ridiculous. We kept them in the game. Second half, we just came out and had tenacity and actually played hard. I played horrible in the first half, only had 1 point, so I knew we're not going to win if I'm not doing anything in the paint. That's our advantage against these guys. So I had to step up for my teammates.
And in the girls' game, the return of Ruthie Hebert, who transferred from Lathrop to West Valley, and Wolfpack head coach Jesse Craig, who was an assistant for the Lathrop boys basketball team last year. Lathrop trailed 14-8 after 1 and 27-18 at the half. They had balanced scoring. Brooke Lazard and Carly Fitzgerald got 7 points, but West Valley got a jump start, not from Carly Marquez or Hebert, but Teresa Samples, hot shooting, hitting her first 4 shots. She had 12 points. Then Hebert, she went to work with the game-high 20 points in this one. Marquez added 10, and the Wolfpack pull away for a 51-32 win.
And it's always one of those games when you come here, it's a big-time rivalry. Doesn't matter what the rest of the season is, this game is always a big game. So it's going to prepare us. We have some big games coming up. We have North Pole this weekend, and then beginning of February we go down and play in Anchorage. So So each game helps us get a little more experience. We're a young team, and every little bit of experience that we can get is great.
Across town at Hutchinson, the Hawks hosted the Allison Ravens in this World Conference game, the Battle of the Birds, if you will. The Hawks were in control of this one using defense and transitional offense. Michael Benson led the Hawks with 16 points. Allison's Chance Paget, he broke out for a game-high 24 points. But the Hawks were not phased and cruised to a 65-45 victory.
We always want to run. We're a smaller team, so we just like to run, and we just love to run up and down the court. And the number one thing that we have to do is defense, and then we just run as we go as soon as possible. Fast break offense.
The Hutchinson girls, however, were in a battle in the first half of the Ravens. Asia Dew led the Ravens with 10 points. Allison trailed just 3 at the half, but Hutchinson made some adjustments and were up 46-30 just 5 minutes into the third. Kiana Edwards had a game-high 15 points for the Hawks, and Taylor Hastings added 14. The Hawks used a big second half to get a 68-47 win over Allison.
We picked it up. We fixed our press in the second half for sure, and played clean, better defense, and made our layups and shots, and we hustled.
And that'll do it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. We were talking earlier about all the mess that was caused today by that area of low pressure. The latest I'm getting on the satellite pictures that still way down to the south, nothing coming our direction. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Photograph night, a very interesting one. This was sent in by Alvin Ott. We'll call this a monster tree for a good reason. It looks like a monster getting ready to prance on somebody or just jump on somebody or something like that. Again, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to photos@ktbf11.com. And as far as what's going on out at the airport right now, it's a little dark out there, but it's going to get light any minute now. In fact, there it is. Okay, let's go out to the airport and show you foggy conditions. 25 degrees right now after a high of 35. A low last night, 22. Record high in 1981, 39 degrees. Record low 60 below in 1906. Sunrise and sunset, 6 hours and 6 minutes. We go past that 6-hour barrier. And the latest radars, we showed you the satellite picture earlier. Again, you don't see anything making it past the Alaska Range. There's the mess that went through us earlier today. And look how fast it diminishes completely. And down to the south, nothing really ominous are coming our way either. So maybe we'll dodge the bullet. Who knows? But keep an eye on it all night long, and make sure you check out in the morning, too, to see if the roads are slick or not. Cloudy skies over southeast Alaska today. Lots of rain down to the south because of the warmer temperatures. 41 at Anchorage, 46 at Kodiak Island. Snow showers up at Barrow, 4 degrees below zero there. And Fort Yukon, a little snow shower activity too, 23 degrees for the high there. Across the lower 48, things have calmed down considerably. Still a little bit of lingering light snow across the northern and central plains. The big news tonight is they're looking at ice possible in Houston and San Antonio, Texas, because of cold air diving down to the south. You can see it working its way down, and the pink indicating where frozen precipitation is at right now. And overnight, they're expecting possibly to have an ice storm down around the, like I said, San Antonio and Houston area. Unusual. What lies ahead for the weekend? More frigid air coming in from Canada across the Great Lakes and the Northeast, and the drought continues across the far west. Those folks there are going to be looking at a water shortage later on. Well, let's see. Let's talk about, why not? Talk about the kids weather. Anderson Elementary School all this week. And tonight we're going to be hearing from the teacher, the second grade teacher, with an interesting weather fact.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Lesage, and this is my second grade class here at Anderson Elementary School on Eielson Air Force Base. And we have a weather fact for you, class. Did you know that normally a rainbow lasts only a few minutes? But in England in 1994, a rainbow lasted from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. 6 hours.
Wow.
And next week we'll be talking with the kids from Joy Elementary School. All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. Cloudy skies, 24 degrees, some light freezing rain developing. Tomorrow's forecast, rain and snow early, then cloudy, but warming up through the day. 36 for the high. And the extended forecast, as you can see here, looking at cloudy to partly cloudy skies right on through the 5-day period. Daytime highs, once again, way above normal for this time of year. Overnight lows also above normal. And we're looking at no real big storms on the horizon. And no big outbreaks of cold air either. So the warm temperatures are here to stay, guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Just be careful in the morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, that will wrap up this edition of the Fbx Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, after more than 35 years, indictments in a notorious robbery case. That's next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webster11.com.
And that will do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a good night, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you back here again at 11.